What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Power Play with CJ. Today's going to be the first preview of the Stanley Cup Finals between my Boston Bruins and the Chicago Blackhawks. Obviously Chicago winning a great one at home in Game 5 against the reigning Cup champs. Really good to clinch it on home ice for any of fans. And, they gave up the tying goal with, 9.5 seconds left. Richards had the tip in. And, I thought LA outplayed them for the most part in overtime. And then, they got the 2-on-1, Taves over to Kane. And it goes back to a quote that I think Stan Bowman had back. Oh no, it was Dale Talon going back even further in 2007 when they drafted Kane, saying, I can see Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane being a deadly force for Chicago for the next 10 years or so. And they've already won one cup, and they're going into the finals. With a good, they got home ice, but I think my Bruins going to pull this one out. I got the Bruins in 6. I just think the Bruins are the walking dead. I mean, they should not have gotten out of Game 7 against the Leafs alive, and since then they're 8-1, or 9-1 counting Game 7. Beating the Rangers, beating Pittsburgh, and now they're rolling into Chicago. And Chicago obviously had the best record in the regular season, had one of the best starts in the history of professional sports, and they looked great, and they still look great. But you just look at the goaltender matchup. As good as Crawford has played, Tuukka Rask has been otherworldly. When you give up 2 goals in 4 games to one of the best offensive teams in the league, that's saying something right there. A .44 goals against average against the Penguins, really. And then you look at the defense. They won a great Game 4 in LA without Duncan Keith. But obviously Duncan Keith is a straw that stirs the drink for the Chicago Blackhawks. They got some okay depth with Leddy, with Seabrook, with Johnson. But and actually, I would give them the slight edge in terms of defense. When the Bruins obviously got Big Z, then after that it's a little bit of a drop off. As good as Krug has played, as good as the rest of the guys have played. Chara is probably, I'd say, more important to the Bruins blue line, a lot more important to the Bruins blue line than Duncan Keith is. And I think both of them have won Norris trophies in the past, and rightfully so. Both amazing players. In terms of the forwards, it's easy to say Chicago's got the slight edge, but the Bruins are no slouches. David Krejci has been on an absolute tear. That line with Lucic and Horton, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Lucic and Bickle go head-to-head, 2 of the better preeminent power forwards in the game. And then, if Tyler Seguin can get going, which I've been saying for 3 rounds and counting now, it'll be a tough time. But, even without Seguin and Yager pretty much being non-existent, Bergeron and Marchand have been outstanding. And Bergeron and Taves going head-to-head, it's going to be an unbelievable matchup. Both of them are, I believe, Selke finalists. Bergeron won it last year. They both played for Team Canada at the Olympics. I think they'll both be on Team Canada in February, this coming February, in Russia. But I think Bergeron's cemented himself as a preeminent two-way player in the game. As great as Taves is, Taves is probably better. He is better offensively, but not as good defensively as Bergeron is. And I think that's going to be a matchup to watch. And I think Chara is going to be a living hell of a backhand. I think is fast and speedy and shifty, I should say. He's more of a shifty guy, Kane. As shifty as he is, Chara is going to be a nightmare for him because there's only one defenseman in the National Hockey League that's 6'9", and as good as Robin Regehr in LA, and Nick Cronwall in Detroit, and who's a Suter in Minnesota. None of them are 6'9", and play with a mean streak, and that's what you're getting into with Chara. And I think Kane's going to have his hands full. I think he's really going to be. His game is going to be tested. I think Hossa is going to be the guy they're going to rely upon, because I think the Bruins' onus is going to be to show. Kane and Taves have been shuffled back and forth with and without each other throughout. I thought most of the LA series. There were times they were together, there were times they weren't together. But I think the Bruins taking this out in 6. The goaltender matchup. Goaltender is a great equalizer. I call the forwards with Rod. I know I'm going to call the homer for saying that, but that's just the way it is. I give the slight edge defensively, the defense core to Chicago, but anything could happen. A 7-game series, and Corey Crawford could look like Ken Dryden, but Tuukka Rask has got the Ken Dryden act down pat, and he's looking better than Thomas did 2 years ago. And Krejci, people don't realize, led the playoffs in scoring that year, and he's on another level. He's playing, Ozier. John LeClair had a bunch of postseason clutch goals. He's on that level, Or I was going to say Fernando Pisani year, but Fernando Pisani was, third liner that had a great playoff run. David Krejci is one of the preeminent players in the game and does not get the credit he deserves because he plays in a defense-first system that doesn't, allow offensive production to be as high a level as it could be in other teams that are running gun. But I think Krejci would take that, definitely is fine with where he's playing, considering, they won the Cup 2 years ago. They're in the finals again, so Anyway, that's the first of many finals previews, finals breakdowns. We got another piece coming up, the difference between Boston and Chicago. It's gonna be fun. We got 72 hours and counting to the finals. I'm pumped. You're pumped. Let's go Bruins. Later, guys.